Well, it felt like a science fiction film, a Lebanese resident has said on record. At almost exactly the same moment, 3:30 p.m. local time, pagers exploded all over Lebanon, leaving hideous gashes and wounds on the heads, hands, and the hips of their owners. The significance of the attack quickly became clear. The pagers were being used by members of Hezbollah, the Lebanese militant movement that has been fighting an undeclared war with Israel since October. But the Israeli military has not commented on the attack, which comes the day after it warned of a tougher stance against Hezbollah, stoking fears of a broader conflict at a time when Israel sees an opportunity to decapitate Hezbollah's capabilities. But in information coming in at the moment, the pagers used by Hezbollah members that simultaneously exploded on Tuesday came from Taiwan. The New York Times is reporting, with explosives packed in sometime before they arrived in Lebanon. The pagers had been ordered from Taiwanese manufacturer Gold Apollo. This is what the Times is reporting, citing anonymous American and other officials. Now, the reports state clearly that they were tampered with by Israel before arriving into Lebanon. Quoting some of the officials, this is what the US newspaper has said. But the pagers had been ordered from a Taiwanese manufacturer. In fact, they were tampered with by Israel before arriving into Lebanon. But US officials, meanwhile, have said on record that there is no involvement as far as the United States is concerned in this incident at all.
Again, I don't have any details to provide on the reports of the pager blast. I can tell you, to my knowledge, there's no U.S. involvement in this at all. Again, it's something that we're monitoring.
My colleague Mohammed Ghazali has been tracking the finer details for us very closely. He joins us live at the moment. Ghazali, Israel has been using digital technologies to target members of Hezbollah for months. But this attack is unlike anything seen before, right, as we've discussed, and it appears to have struck a new kind of blow.
Certainly a massive intelligence and security breach for Hezbollah. And why this is very significant, as you rightly pointed out, that Israel has certainly changed the rules of the game. They were facing rocket attack from Hezbollah on their northern border for months, not just after October 7, but the incidents have happened before October 7 as well. But after October 7, since Hezbollah came out supporting Hamas for its attack on October 7, after that, even they have joined hands with Hamas. It started launching rocket attacks on the northern side of Israel, and Israel had to sort of evacuate around thousands of residents from that particular area, move them to another location in the country. And that has been very problematic development because US was forcing Israel or a kind of pressurizing Israel not to go for a full-blown war with Hezbollah. Because Hezbollah, unlike Hamas, is a much more organized unit, and it has more than 1 lakh people who have in their units across Lebanon. Now, what is the relevance of this particular attack? You see, after the attack, after this pager attack happened, multiple videos emerged on the social media. And as usual, all those who were working with Hezbollah in Lebanon, and not just people in the military wing, not just who are involved in the attacks, but even people who are involved in civilian services. Basically, if you see people who are not also part of the military wing, but anybody who was using this pager, and as per the international media reports, around 5,000 of new pagers were recently bought. And in one of the videos of the explosion, if you hear carefully in Arabic, one of the person is asking the other one whether are you using the new one or are you using the old one. So yes, perhaps it confirms that all the new consignment which had arrived for Hezbollah to use these pagers were tampered with. International reports are suggesting that before the consignment could reach Hezbollah, it was breached by Israel, explosive devices were planted on it, and then after extraordinary coordination, that at one moment, simultaneous explosions happened across Lebanon, across the city of Beirut, and many Hezbollah fighters or say members of that unit have been injured. Now, what this has done to Hezbollah and the entire axis of resistance, which Iran calls all its offshoots in the Middle East, is that it has exposed them. It has certainly shown to the entire axis of resistance, like Iran, Houthis, and as well as Hezbollah, that their communications have been compromised massively. Like Israel didn't even have to send their army into Lebanon for any ground invasion, but sitting back in their own territory, they could demolish. Absolutely. And almost all their bases, all their operatives who were living in the civilian areas, their identity was not known. With this pager attack, at least their identities have been exposed. Right. So Israel now has a much better access, understanding of all the Hezbollah operatives in Lebanon. And also, it has given a massive blow to Hezbollah's operatives. Like, psychologically, nobody will lift any electronic device, leave alone the pager part, because the Lebanese Health Ministry also advised people to be very careful before using any electronic gadget, steer away from any electronic devices. And this is not the first time that Israel has been using its spying and surveillance technology,
Yes.
but this certainly was out of the book.
In fact, for Israel to embed an explosive trigger within the new batch of pagers, as certain reports suggest, they would have likely needed access to the supply chain of these devices as well, Ghazali. But thanks so much for joining us with that crucial update. We are aware that Hezbollah had ordered its fighters to get rid of smartphones that could be targeted by Israel, but the historic scale of this attack, is it being perceived as sending a message to the group that we can get you anywhere? Well, Sarah Coates has a detailed update for us.
Well, this is a developing story, certainly a major escalation, and it could signal the beginning of a larger campaign. Now, health officials on the ground in Lebanon, they have been told by emergency organisers to right now attend any close hospital to administer aid. We are hearing that more than 1,000 people have been injured, at least 3 killed, one of those including the son of a very prominent member of Lebanese parliament and also a little girl. Now, among the injured, reports say that one of those people is the Iranian ambassador to Lebanon. He's reportedly in good condition, but certainly thousands of people injured. And it really raises questions as to how these devices exploded in the first place, but there is still no comment from the Israelis on this, although members of parliament and senior officials have been told by the Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu not to comment. But once again, developing story, more than 1,000 people injured. We are hearing that some 3 people have been killed, with still no claim as to who was behind this incident. Sarah Coates for NDTV, Tel Aviv.